Hello, my name is Lizzy Giovanniellio. I'm a recent graduate of devCodeCamp's 14-week software development coding bootcamp, and today I'd like to show you my capstone project, RideAlong. RideAlong is a carpooling application, so essentially a platform to connect drivers with potential passengers. So if you're driving somewhere and you have extra seats in your ride, you can list the details of that ride, including how many seats you have available, how much you'd like to charge people, things like that. And then potential passengers can browse through the available rides. And if your ride matches their needs, they can reserve it and you two will be connected. So I first thought of this application years ago at a time where I could have really used something like this because I didn't have good access to transportation. And at the time, I remember wishing that somebody else would make this application. And now I can make it, which I think is really cool. So for this project, I used a React JavaScript front end, a Python Django REST framework backend, MySQL for the database, Material UI for the styling, and also the Google Maps and Google Geolocation APIs, which we will see in a bit. So starting out, you can see we just start out right on the home page here. There's no login page or anything like that because I want to make it as easy as possible for someone to at least search for rides and get the basic information that they would need before they would decide to book, because I think it's just a waste of anybody's time to be forced to log in before they even know if they need an account. So we can go ahead and just start by searching. And we can search for a ride that's coming up this weekend. And so now we see all the results that match our search. So we have a few different options here, and we can kind of make our decision based upon whatever factors differ. So price, number of seats, the time that they leave, the rating of the driver, whatever it is that we need to make our decision. And this rating of the driver is really important because it helps us provide feedback from other users to let you know what these people are like, to help you make an informed decision of whether you want to ride with somebody or not. And that includes providing you with the information that somebody has never been rated before, because that's important to your decision too. So if that's the case, you'll see this newbie badge here. And actually, if you click on the name of one of these drivers, it'll bring you to their own rating page where you can see a breakdown more specifically, including what people have said about them and specifically whether they were the driver or the passenger for that particular trip, and what their overall stats are as a driver and as a passenger. The other thing that you can do without logging in is you can see the individual details of a trip. So in addition to clicking on the driver's name, you can also just click on the trip itself, and it will bring you to its details page, which includes a spot on the map where the meeting location is and all that same basic information. And once again, you can click on the driver's name and be brought to that page. So you can see all this without even logging in, and you can make an informed decision whether it works for you or not. And whether you're searching for a ride or trying to add a ride, if you're not logged in, it will prompt you to log in or register, whichever you need to do. So at this point, we will go ahead and log in. So and now let's actually try adding a ride. So we can, and we're just going to use the same specifications. We'll say 3 seats, $20, sure, and we'll pick, May 1st. Random time, doesn't really matter, whatever the details are of our trip, and we can create it. And you'll see it actually brings us right to our details page. And now it says upcoming. And because we're the driver, you'll notice we have this little edit toggle here. So this will only appear if you are the driver of the trip, and it will actually allow you to edit whatever details of the trip you'd like to change right there in the information. So I can actually change this location from, say, New York to Chicago, and maybe, Boston to, I don't know, New York, whatever it is we need to change. Maybe we also want to change, we have 4 seats instead of 3. We want to change the price to $25, whatever it is, right? And we can save those changes, and you'll see they show up right away. The other thing that we could do is we could just delete the trip right from here. So we can just go ahead and delete that right away, and it'll just bring us back to the home page, obviously, because that trip does not exist anymore. So as you're starting to see, probably you'll see different things on these pages depending on who you are in relation to the trip, because we don't want to give people too much information that they don't need. So now if we were to book that trip that we were talking about, now that we're logged in, we can. You'll see it actually gives us the option now, and you can select as many seats as you'd like to reserve. So maybe you're traveling with friends, you can book for everybody at once. And you'll notice it gives you the total and the number of seats that you're paying for. So if you select 2, it'll change that to reflect the price that you'd actually need to pay. And when you reserve it, once again, you're brought to this page, and now you'll notice again the information has changed, because now you have the driver's contact information, as well as information about how many spots you reserved and how much you owe. So this is all just whatever information would be most useful for you as a passenger. The other thing that you have access to once you've logged in is seeing your own ratings and reviews, if you click on your name, as well as seeing your ride history. So ride history provides you with a lot of information. It organizes your trips based upon when they happened. So past trips are categorized as such. Trips that are in the future are under upcoming trips, and ongoing trips reflect any trips that are happening today. And they're at the top, so because they're, the most pressing ones. And you might notice for these past trips, one of them has this review button and the other doesn't. That would be because this trip, Tom here has already submitted a review for, in this case, a review for the passenger. But on this trip, he has not yet submitted a review for the driver. And so if we were to do that, we can just press this review button, and we can select however many stars we'd like, including half stars. So we could do 4.5 stars, for example. And we could just say, Sue was great. And we can submit that. And now you'll see the button disappears, so we can't double dip on reviews. And we know now that we've submitted a review because the button is gone. Okay, so if we click on an ongoing trip, once again, we will see that different information appears, because now it's the day of. So in addition to all our regular information, we can actually see we have this check-in button, and we have these little check-ins listed here. So the purpose of this is, once you arrive on the day of your trip at the meeting location, you want a way of letting the other people on the trip, other passengers, the driver, whoever it is, you want a way of letting them know that you've arrived. Not only that you've arrived, but what time did you arrive, and optionally your exact location and a message that might help them find you. So you can see in the examples we have here, Sue, the driver, has already checked in, and we can see what time she did, and she's left us a little description of what she's wearing and where she's standing. Matilda, another passenger here, did not add an optional description, so you'll see it just says her name and her role on the trip. But both of them allowed their browser to grab their location. So we can actually see that this pin on the map here is Matilda, and that one is Sue. So the coordinates of their exact location were grabbed when they checked in, and we can see it on the map. So that makes it easier for us to find them. So now I can check in myself, and I can just leave a little message like, I am here, which is not particularly useful, but for our purposes, it works. So now you can see it appears right here. Tom has arrived. Again, it says the role, the time that he checked in, what the message was, and you'll notice the pin has appeared on the map as Tom. All right, and because this is our check-in, we have these 3 little dots here, so we can edit or delete our check-in as we wish. So if we want to edit the message, we can do that, and you'll see it appears right here. We can also go ahead and delete it. And if we do that, you'll notice the button reappears. So say you think you've arrived, you leave a check-in, and then you realize you're in the wrong spot, you can just delete it, and you'll have the opportunity to do it again to make sure, again, it serves the purposes of the trip as best as possible. And those are the core features of RideAlong. You can interact with it as a passenger of a ride, a driver, or just somebody who's considering being one of the two. And you can see that all the information that you need is provided based upon your role in the trip and what time it is in relation to the trip. So I hope to add more features to this in future sprints, but for now we have this core functionality, and I think it serves, all the purposes that a driver or passenger would need for this application. So thank you for listening, and hopefully you'll see future versions of it.